Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with another virtual real estate video. We are in Upland, where we spend most of our time. Really fun, addicting game, and can be an investment as well. And today we're going to talk about the Berkeley collection. Berkeley opened recently. We made a lot of money in Berkeley. Went through there, minted a bunch of properties, sold a bunch. And then we went for a few collections as well that we missed on. But I'm going to talk about some interesting things that happened since then that were very surprising to me. So we'll talk about how some of those missed collections maybe weren't quite as bad as I thought they were. And of course, check out Mark's Invest for More channel if you want to know about real estate, our flips, rentals, all that stuff. We have lots of videos on there too. And we love the likes and new subscribers and comments, so keep those coming as well. All right, so here is Berkeley. If you're new to Upland, you can buy properties, lots the same size as real life lots. It's pretty cool. They open up new cities. And then that's really where you can make a lot of money minting properties and then reselling them. And they have collections where you can get very valuable properties because they're part of a collection, they're exclusive, they're rare, and people tend to pay much more money for them. So before we get started, my last video, I was completely wrong about something. So we can pull up the collections right here. And in the last video, I was traveling all around the world with my little Explorer guy, and I didn't have to do that. So here's the collection for Oakland, and I'm in Oakland right now. But if you want to switch to a different town, you can, and see the collection right here. So I didn't know you could do that. So like I said, I'm not like a super duper expert on this yet. I'm just kind of chronicling my journey, what I'm learning, all that stuff. So ignore everything I said in the last video about having to move your Explorer guy to that town to do collections or buy properties. So let's look at this real quick here and show you what I'm talking about. So the collections ended up being South Berkeley, which I don't think anybody thought was going to be a collection because that's some of the cheapest properties, the most FSAs. Properties were unminted FSAs after everything was done. University of California, Berkeley was a collection, and then that was it, right? Ocean View, which everyone thought would be a collection, was not. Poets Corner was not. Downtown Berkeley was not. And then Solana, the road, ended up being a collection, which went, up here, right along 1,000 Oaks, which I don't know if many people thought that would be either. And ironically, I bought like 25 properties right in this area, and I looked back and none of them were on Solano. So that was the closest I got. I still have one there. So I was going to feel pretty bad if I had like 15 properties along here and sold them all, but I didn't. So that wasn't too bad. And then the other interesting thing, so Telegraph. I've talked about Telegraph a lot, and you can see Telegraph right here. It is a collection in Oakland, right? And so Oakland was started, I'm not even sure, a few months ago, maybe longer. And then North Berkeley and Alameda were opened up later on as extensions of Oakland. So you can still see, right, if we open up the collections and then we click it back to Oakland, because I know you can do that now, you can see, right, the East Bay is all of Oakland. I've said it took me a while to figure that out. West End is Alameda, Piedmont is Oakland, South Berkeley is Berkeley. So you can see, these are all just part of one big Oakland collection. So I assumed, I'm going to go back here real quick. We can look at Telegraph. So the roads are often, ultra rare, exclusive collections. There's Telegraph, exclusive collection. So properties on there are very valuable. I just assumed they have to continue Telegraph as a collection because, it's still in Oakland. Everything's in Oakland. But they didn't. They did not extend it. So what you have is this line right here is the kind of the line between Oakland and Berkeley. So right here, that's in Berkeley. That's in Oakland. So these are part of the collection. These are not. So I minted 2 properties on Telegraph, and I ended up selling those for over 100. And I ended up selling those for over 100,000 each. So I kind of got my money back. I made a lot of money minting them. I think I paid $7,000 minting them, kind of as my hedge in case it wasn't a collection. I still had made some money on it. But then I went through and I bought like 3 properties or 4 properties on Telegraph as well that were priced pretty decently. I think I paid $100,000 to $125,000 for those because the properties on this Telegraph all were $250,000 or more. So I thought there's a lot of profit room there. And then I actually sold, I think, a couple more of those properties before Telegraph was announced. Bought some more. So I made a lot of money on Telegraph. But then it was a big disappointment when it did not become a collection. And I thought, oh, great, my properties are worthless now. I'll just hold them, and maybe someday they'll be worth more. That's not what happened. What happened was, I'll go to my messages here. Oh, I just sold the property in Oakland. If we go down here, 3111 Telegraph sold for 120,000 UPX. That is not in the collection side. That is Berkeley. We scroll down here some more. 2636 Telegraph sold for 145,000 UPX. Again, that is in Berkeley, not part of the collection. And I had someone else offer me, what was it, 100,000 one of them, and I was actually going to take it. I missed it because it was over the night. They withdrew their offer. The next day it sold for 120,000. I think that was the top one I showed you. So I still made money on these properties on Telegraph, even though they're not in the collection, even though I missed it. And this is kind of a problem I brought up in the Discord comments, like, hey, people are going to think this Telegraph is part of the collection and probably buy properties and probably be really disappointed when they find out they're not in the collection. And people are like, well, people can figure out if they're part of the collection. It's easy to tell. And it wasn't easy for me to tell when I first started. And I think that might be what's happening. Otherwise, why would people pay this much money for properties on Telegraph? So even though it missed a collection and we spent a whole lot of money on those properties, they're still selling. So it'll be interesting to see if this keeps happening or if it's just a 1 or 2 time thing. But I still have a couple other properties here on Telegraph that are for sale, and for sale for more than I bought them for. So we could still make money on Telegraph even though we missed a collection, which is kind of crazy. And then something else I want to talk about, I minted a property on Ocean View, which was very expensive. Properties were super pricey before the mint, and then it missed the collection. It did not have it, as I said. Stuff is still crazy expensive here. So it's still so pricey. So even though it missed the collection, you can still get things for not, cheap at all, right? They're all pretty expensive. And I think, was it this one? Either that one or this one I minted. I think it was this one. And I ended up selling it for $95,000 in that price range, and now they're trying to flip it. So I minted it for $30,000, made $90,000, even though I missed the collection. So my point on this is, even if you go for a collection, in certain cases, right, you still might do okay on the properties if you miss that collection. In a weird situation with the Telegraph Road, right, or in areas with high mint prices, they're still popular, you might do okay. Don't go fire selling all your properties after you miss a collection, assuming they're worthless. Because I did see some properties on Telegraph after that happened for like $20,000, and I should have bought them, right? But I didn't. Now there's nothing for sale on Telegraph again. But it's very interesting how even the missed collections areas can still be pretty valuable. I was going to check out downtown Berkeley here. There's, oh, look at that. They're $40,000. So they're a lot cheaper now. These were $200,000-300,000 minimum before the announcement of collections. Now they've dropped down significantly. So there's just so many different strategies in this game. But I think overall, I talked about this in my last video, Bronx, Berkeley, those 2 openings, if I would have minted as much as I could and sold everything before the collection was announced, I'd probably be well ahead of trying to guess where those collections are, because I had 1 property in South Berkeley, and that was it. And then no other collections in here. And I had some really high dollar value properties. I could have sold this for much more than I sold it for. Telegraph I probably could have sold for more than I sold them for. Other areas, Poets Corner, I could have sold them for more than they're worth now. Overall, I think you're much better off selling everything and selling it to the gamblers who want to hope to hit the collection, unless you get super lucky and have 5 properties on an ultra rare street. But that's really, takes a lot of luck and a pretty risky play, because you just don't know which streets are going to be what. So I'm curious too, because mine were pretty high dollar mint properties. Oh, these are cheap. let's see what look at that. So they probably paid not a whole lot more than this for this property. So that's something to consider too when you're buying properties. Like, I want to keep these properties even though they're really probably not worth that much right now. I can make them part of my East Bay collection and make pretty decent earnings on them, right? I paid 43 with the bonuses, pretty good earnings based on what I paid on it. So even though I could sell them and make some money, I'm going to keep those because they're high mint properties, have a lot of monthly yield coming in, so we'll keep those. All right, so that's just my little video for today about the interesting parts of these collections. Not hitting, but still paying off. All right, thanks for watching. Love the likes, love the comments, love seeing new subscribers. And we'll be back with many more videos here coming up. I do this a lot, so it's easy for me to just videotape what I'm thinking and what I'm doing. And yeah, like the last video, if you guys see me doing something wrong or missing something, please comment and let me know. I'm happy to hear criticism, support, all that good stuff. And thank you to the people who did comment before telling me what I did wrong. Also, I want to give a shout out to Upland Analysis. They have a really cool YouTube channel too. They're the ones who let me know about what was going on here. And I didn't even realize it until I saw their comment. I think I got some of their ideas for the Berkeley collections from one of their videos. So check them out too if you have not done that.